some decent talent on their team. And so at this point now, you have to take that next step. You have to make the playoffs. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to make the playoffs. If you don't, then it's time for another change to be made, and it can't be the players this time. It has to be the coaching.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You know,
and it's a playoff or bust type of year for them. All right, so
yeah, and with the Timberwolves, I think the biggest issue is who's going to be the number one. I think that's going to be the problem there, because I don't see Butler as a true number one. And if you're bringing him in to be that, I don't think that you're going to be successful. I think that Karl Anthony Towns has to be your focal point of your offense now. He should be your focal point. And Wiggins and Butler are playing off of Karl Anthony Towns. They have to, because neither one of them have ascended to being the number one option on a team at this point. And I think that Karl Anthony Towns gives you that best opportunity by running the offense through him.
Yeah. And big shout out, we got Chief Rocka in the building. Man, guess you stepped in the room. Goodbye. I appreciate you, Chief. He says, of course, he says, Minnesota, they will never win. He says, after Minnesota. So got some Vince Wright. Vince Wright's not in the chat room yet, but Vince Wright is the sports governor of Minnesota, so I know he's got his ears have got to be burning right now with us talking about Minnesota. But it is a playoff.
It's a make or break year for them.
It's a playoff or bust type of year for them. All right, so one other signing, which I'm scratching my head about here, Tim Hardaway Jr. Okay, that much money?
Was it 4 years, 71? Was it 4 years, 71 million?
71 million. Atlanta stepped back and said, "Nah, bro, we're not matching that deal. You crazy? Come on, son. Come on, son.
Well,
come on."
You know, the worst part about this is not even just the money. The worst part about this is New York drafted him and traded him,
right,
and then offered him 4 years, 71 million to come back. Like, I mean. All management needs to go. Like, I mean, Bush Hart already stepped. Phil Jackson left. Should fire himself. Like, it's over. I mean, who is running this? Who? This is some clown stuff. Like, I mean, and it's not a knock on Tim Hardaway. I think Tim Hardaway is a good player. I don't think he's a great player, but I think he's a good player. He's definitely not as good as his dad. But to trade him and then try to get him back for that amount of money is crazy. That is just crazy. So, and I it's almost like the George Hill thing where San Antonio traded George Hill and then they were trying to like re-sign him, but they tried to re-sign him at a low rate, and George Hill was like, "Nah, bruh, I'm gonna go over here." Right? Tim Hardaway, on the other hand, was like, "Oh, y'all gonna offer me 71? Where do I sign?"
Right. It was like, no brainer for him.
Yeah, like, I'll sit in New York for 71 million and not win at all. I don't care for 71 million. I go play point guard in New York for 71 million.
Yeah, anybody.
I have no problem.
Anybody would.
Anybody would. Period.
So Chief Rocka, the resident New York Knicks and New York, I guess, guru, says he said he will take Tim, but the money is too bad. He also said we traded him because Melo didn't like him, and we have to build new management.
Melo didn't like him. Are they gonna catch? Like that's the big thing too in New York. Do you release Melo? Do you what do you do with Melo? Because at this point, I'm a Melo fan. I love Melo. I love Melo's game. I think Melo offensively is like one of the best offensive players to play the game. Like, just his versatility, the things that he can do on the court, like, it's just ridiculous, right? But it hasn't translated to winning. And so at this point, it's like, what do you do with him? I mean, Melo reminds me of Jamal Crawford in Atlanta back in the day. I think that's like a fair comparison almost. Jamal Crawford was like a starting point guard, and he was great as, he was okay as a starting point guard. He wasn't great. He was okay as a starting point guard, but he was great. He's been great as a six man. He's a great player as a six man. You let him come in, let him get buckets. That's what he do. That is his job. That's what he do. Don't ask him to play no defense. Don't ask him to pass the ball. Just tell him to go score. Just, hey, put the ball in your hand and score. That's Melo. Put the ball in your hands and score. I don't want you to pass it. Don't even look to pass it. Just go score. And Melo can do that for you. But Melo cannot be your option now. He cannot be the number one option anymore. It's over.
All right. I mean, I agree with you. We got a question from the chat room. We got Chief. He says, do you think, or what do you think about Rondo teaching the rookie? I've seen Rondo firsthand with him being here in Dallas during that time. It did not work out. I don't even think Rondo is mature enough to put somebody under his wing. And I don't think Rondo is that type of maturity level to even do that. If you want to add Rondo, I understand. It gives you a better point guard than probably the situation that you have. But I don't see adding Rondo as being a win-win situation as far as mentoring. And what's your thoughts on it, though?
I agree. I don't see Rondo as a mentor, and I mean I don't personally know him, so I can't tell you. But all I say is, when he's been in the locker room and just his style of play hasn't necessarily been fitting for a lot of teams. So because of that, I'm not sure if it's actually necessary for him to be a mentor to anybody in the league at this point. Also, I mean, with the Knicks, the Knicks are a lottery team. You let those players just grow and develop on their own. You don't need to necessarily bring in somebody to mentor them. You want to probably bring in some veterans to teach them how to play or how to train, how to go about their business in the NBA, things like that. Like that's what you need that veteran leadership for, to teach them those nuances about those things. Talk to them about certain things, about how to deal with the press, how to deal with when your family wants 50 tickets to come see you play, those type of things. That's what you need those veterans for, and teaching you how to work out and stuff like that. I don't think that Rondo can do that for them, and therefore I don't see a point in them signing Rondo. I think bro, if you've already gave Tim Hardaway all this money, you let Tim Hardaway go ahead and play, and y'all roll.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to let you go. But one other thing, Chief says he helped the Bulls last year. I agree, he did help them as far as being a mature person. But as far as not causing a stir in the locker room, he was not able.
Well, he did get suspended.
Yeah, I'm saying he wasn't able to do that. He wasn't able to be successful at being a leader. But I believe he can help the Knicks. I just don't think putting him in a quote-unquote leadership role is a good idea. And that's just that's what I think what it comes down to.
Well, yeah, and for me, I think if you want to take a Rondo, you're taking Rondo because you think that you're a playoff team. The Knicks are not a playoff team. So, with that being said, I don't see the point of spending that type of money on him. Now, the Knicks are rebuilding. They're rebuilding. Rebuild. Get some players who can really contribute. I don't think that Rondo can contribute enough where he makes you guys a playoff team right now. So, that's my assessment. That's the only reason I'm saying don't go get Rondo, is because I think he stunts the growth of your other players. He needs minutes. He wants to play and things like that. At this point, the Knicks are trying to develop players. They're trying to, reestablish themselves in the NBA as a force. They're trying to build around Porzingis.
Right.
And so, with that being said, I don't think you bring in Rondo to do that.
All right. Well, appreciate you as always. Always love getting you on. Always love getting your sports opinions, especially on NBA. Once again, Tyjun Mack. Find him on Facebook. Also, we'll be in the Real NBA Talk group. Also, Jump Ball on Facebook. So appreciate you as always, bro.
Thank you, man. Always enjoy coming on here. So next time, let's do it again.
All right, definitely. All right, everybody. So next up, we're going to be talking with Nina Cross. Nina Cross is a gospel MC, Christian hip-hop artist. You can call her a gospel rapper. But she has an amazing story. Got some dope music out. So she'll be calling in here in a couple of seconds. But to answer the question, how does Rondo stop growth? I just don't think he's mature. I mean, every single year seems like Rondo's in a story about he didn't like the old Celtics. He was calling out, he called out who in the with the Bulls. I'm forgetting his name right now. He called out D Wade for the Bulls in the media. To me, that's not a good locker room guy. Like I said, I think Rondo will be a good player for the Knicks. I'm not rushing and running to get Rondo to say, I want you to put this guy under your wing. Maybe he can lead by example, but I don't know. There's too many instances I've seen with Rondo that I don't agree. I just don't think he's going to be there to put somebody under his wing and be successful at that type of role. All right, so the show is sponsored by one of the sponsors, Sit or Start Fantasy Football. Download the app, Sit or Start Fantasy Football, on Google Play or iTunes. All right, and we got our next guest up on the show, Nina Cross. How's it going?
Oh, how is that going? Everything is going good. Thank you for asking.
Definitely. I appreciate you for coming on the show. Once again, Nina Cross, she's a gospel MC. Has got an amazing story, got some dope music out, got a single out called Breakthrough, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the interview. So appreciate you for coming on. So what got you started in music, in rap?
Oh, wow. As a kid coming up, my mother was a rapper. So,
wow.
Yeah, no, it's like being in the household. I wanted to sing, but God didn't grace me with the gift to sing. So I could just see her rapping, and I was like, I'm going to be your backup. But I want to say that that's kind of where it started for me. But I didn't take on the responsibility to start rapping until I got like 18. I really realized that, okay, I can do this. This is something I might be good at. And that's kind of where it started for me. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you said your mother was a rapper. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she never took it serious as a career. They used to compete and do different things. They had a dance group and just a musical family, So for her, it was more of a quick way to get a couple of dollars, doing the contest and competition, because she used to win and things like that. But it was just something she would do like in her spare time for fun. It wasn't like a career. And I think when it came down to me, knowing that I had to get the rap, I actually wanted to make it into a career.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, so you started off doing some work for, or started off as a secular rapper, opening for Yin Yang Twins. What brought you over to the change of gospel rap? And before I say that, are you listening to the show in the background? Because I'm getting a little bit of a feedback.
No, I have you on my headset. I can take those off. Give me one second here.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Okay,
it was like an echo on my end, but I think it sounds better now. We're good. So, opening up for Yin Yang Twins, starting off in secular rap and going over to gospel rap. What was that transition like, and how did that all come about?
Wow. That was an interesting transition, because right before the music changed, I was signed to a production contract, and they were like shopping me a record deal. And it just was a time in my life where I met my husband, and he was, someone I was dating, and he gave me a Bible and started taking me to church. And I was saved, but I didn't have that relationship factor with God. So once I started reading the Bible, it started to just magnify my lifestyle that I was living that was contrary to the Word of God. And I think around that time, it was like 2004, I had writer's block because I'm a writer, and I couldn't write no music for like 6 months. And in the midst of that, it was crazy. It was like I couldn't write a rhyme if it was, you're going to say, I'm going to pay you some money. I just